If you're anything like me, you're probably feeling the effects of all the extra celebrations and extra booze throughout the month of December. So this is what I'm doing in January to shed those extra Christmas calories. And if you're new here, I'm Blair. I'm an online coach that specializes in helping people build lean, athletic bodies so they can do the stuff they want to do without second guessing themselves. Bro, that's so fire. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 5 things that I'm going to be doing throughout January to get me back to where I was at the beginning of December. Now, chances are you haven't actually gained as much weight or regressed as much as you think you have. But by doing these 5 things, you'll get yourself back to where you were so you can build on that base and go farther throughout 2024. Point number 1 is to do dry January. So I assume it's similar for most of you watching this, but for me, certainly December, there was more alcohol on a consistent basis than there typically would be probably in any other month throughout the year. So generally in January, when the time rolls around, I'm kind of just done. I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm quite happy just to not really have any drinks. I don't really feel the need to be going out and getting excessively boozed or anything like that. So throughout January for me, I do typically limit alcohol intake. Now, I do enjoy a beer or two most weekends, like on a normal basis, but I do think that during the month of January, just off the back of a heavier month, let's say, it's just nice to kind of give your body a bit of a break from it. So whilst you maybe don't actually have to go completely stone cold and say absolutely no booze, I do think it's worthwhile giving it up at least for a short space of time, or at least limiting it quite a lot. So for me, I'll probably just go cold turkey for January and just say, right, no booze throughout January, just to make sure I'm kind of giving myself the best shot of getting back to where I want to be, and especially in the build up to this High Rocks prep. So number 1, do dry January. Number 2 is to remove leftover Christmas chocolate. So I always get given just unnecessary amounts of chocolate for Christmas from those kind of gift chocolate packs you get, the chocolate coins that you get, and just like random things. They make Brussels sprouts out of chocolate these days. I don't know why. But basically, I just think when it comes to January time, if you haven't already eaten these chocolates, you should just get rid of them, right? Now, I know there's going to be someone that comes in like, oh, you shouldn't throw away the food, blah, blah, blah. To be honest, I wouldn't really have that much of a problem with chucking some chocolate in the bin. But if you really didn't want to, then you could bring it into the office or just give it away somehow, so that then you're at least not throwing it away. So for me, just getting rid of the leftover Christmas chocolate. I mean, to be honest, myself, I probably eat most of it in December, so it's not really too much of a problem for me to get rid of whatever's left, because usually there's not really that much left to get rid of. But if there is, I would say get it out of the cupboards, get it out of the flat. It's just, there's only a certain number of times that you're going to know and walk past the cupboard where all that Christmas chocolate is before eventually you find your hand reaching in there and you're stuffing your face with it. So for me, get rid of it, and you're going to do yourself a favor down the line. Number 3, I'm going to train 6 times every single week. So obviously, I love training. It's not really going to be too much of a challenge for me to train 6 times a week. It's pretty much what I would do anyway. So not really too much of a challenge there. But if you're going to apply this one to yourself, I would just say, pick your number of the sessions that you're going to do every single week and stick to it, right? We all know that training is a massive part in crafting the physique that ultimately, if you're watching this, you probably want to have, right? If you eat perfectly to get the physique you want to have, and everything else is great, your steps, your general activity, that's all fantastic. But if you're not training in the right way, you're never going to end up with that sort of like lean, muscular looking physique. You'll probably end up just getting a bit skinny. So it's really important that you do set the number of training sessions you want to do, stick to it, not even just throughout the month of January, but I feel as though if you're going to set yourself some goals for this month, sticking to a set number of training sessions every single week is a good one to have. Number 4 is to hit at least 10,000 steps per day. So for me, I'm definitely going to commit to hitting 10,000 steps every single day throughout January, because to be honest, one of the biggest things that I even got reminded of throughout the months of sort of October, November, when I was doing my mini cut that I went through, was actually the impact that just doing more steps can have on a fat loss goal. So throughout that time, I was probably doing anywhere between sort of like 10 to sometimes even up to 20,000 steps a day. It did help that I was looking after our family dog at the time, so that definitely was a factor there. But that was a really big factor in me kind of shedding off a lot of the weight that I was able to shed off in a relatively short space of time. So if now I'm just wanting to kind of shape up a tiny bit more and just kind of work off the excess Christmas calories, then just by doing a little bit more steps is only going to work in my favor. So for me, I'm going to aim for at least 10,000 steps every single day throughout the month of January. Going forward after that, I tend to not really think it's worthwhile putting loads of pressure on myself to try and hit a certain number of steps every single day, because it can just kind of sometimes be another factor that adds in a bit more stress as to like, oh my God, I have to do this as well. So whilst it's not something I normally pay that much attention to, in January, I'm going to make sure that I can just shed off some of the excess Christmas weight that I've put on. Number 5 is to menu plan one time per week. So what I mean by this one is essentially just sitting down and planning out what the fuck you're actually going to eat over the course of a week. Now, this is something that I would do pretty much every single week anyway when we kind of organize ourselves to go to the food shop. I also tell all my clients to do this one because I just feel as though you leave too much to chance if you don't menu plan what you're going to eat across the week. Now, it's a lot easier than sometimes it can sound, right? Because I think sometimes when people think about menu planning what they're going to eat for the week, they need to think about all these different meals they're going to cook for different dinners every night and all these different lunches. I keep it super, super simple, right? My breakfast is pretty much the same thing every single day anyway. Scrambled eggs on toast, amazing. So that's already done. My lunches, again, I'll usually just pick one meal for the week, and that'll be my lunches from at least Monday to Friday. Right now, it is something along the lines of some sort of pasta, some sort of vegetables, and then some sort of meat. So this time it's pasta with Mediterranean vegetables that I buy frozen, and I just blast them in the air fryer with some turkey meatballs. And I literally just mix that all together, and that's my lunch. It tastes good enough, it's convenient, it's healthy, it ticks the boxes. And then it's very easy for me to cook on the day or even reheat if I need to. Lastly, for your dinners, that's probably something that you can be a little bit more flexible with. But for me, again, I'll probably eat pretty much the same dinner between Monday and Thursday, maybe leave Friday as something to have as something different. But I think just by sitting down and planning in, right, this is what I'm going to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner from Monday to Friday, just saves me so much energy, and it just makes it so much easier to stick to what I actually plan throughout the week, rather than, for example, walking home from work on a Wednesday night thinking, shit, what am I going to have for dinner? I've not got anything in the flat, I'm tired, I can't really bother to prep anything and cook anything. Do you know what? I'm just going to get a pizza because it's easy. Or I'm just going to get a takeaway because it's easy and I can't be bothered to cook. You just massively reduce the chances of that happening when you've already got a plan, you've already got the food bought, and you know what you're supposed to eat. So for me, menu planning at least once a week is the final thing I will do in January to make sure that I'm shifting any excess Christmas calories. All right, so that is it. Throughout the month of January, I am going to be doing dry January. I'm going to be removing leftover Christmas chocolate, already done that. I'm going to be training 6 times every single week. I'm going to be hitting 10,000 steps every single day, and I'm going to be menu planning every single week just to make sure that I kind of get myself back to where I want to be, probably before the end of January, if I'm honest, and then you can just kind of move on with it. But if you are in a position where you want to kind of set yourself up for a good year throughout January by just feeling better and getting rid of those extra Christmas calories that were consumed, then I would suggest doing something similar. So if you've enjoyed this video, if it's been helpful, please do me a massive favor. Don't forget to subscribe, press the like button, send it to someone else who you think will benefit from watching this, and I will see you in the next one.